Hey, welcome back to Driver 88. Over the last couple of months, we have driven a whole host of mid-engine Ferraris, the very most popular flagship models, like the 488 GTB. We also got behind the wheel of the F8 Tributo, and not long ago, we got behind the wheel of the 296 GTB. Now, what I found with that car, of course, is the fact that lots of people really like it and really dislike it, and not so many people are holding on to that car. There's one Ferrari though, the flagship V8 car, the 458 Italia, which people are holding on to, and I've seen the prices climb and climb and climb over the last 5 years or so, from 300,000 Australian dollars to 400,000 to 500,000 dollars, to the point where the 458 now, really good examples, are asking sticker price, the sticker price from all the way back in 2010. So we're going to drive the car. First time I've had it on the channel, really excited to drive it. Talk about why that is the case, the design, and why it's aged so perfectly, and of course it has that naturally aspirated V8. In 15 years, I don't think this has purely aged a single day. From the exterior, the aesthetics are truly timeless. Penned by Donato Cocco. He was a man who made this beautiful thing. He also penned a whole bunch of very weird looking Citroens for some reason. This is just pure Pininfarina style. And of course, it is also another reason why these have held their value so well, is because a lot of people wouldn't see this as a 15-year-old design, a 15-year-old supercar at all. I think if we brought this design out today, not too many people would be upset. It's just such a beautiful looking thing. It's kind of aggressive but soft at the same time, and it's still made more than 50% plus more downforce than the F430. So a huge part, of course, of the appeal of the 458 is the mid-engine V8. This is the now legendary F136 4.5 litre V8 engine, 562 horsepower, 540 newton meters. You could, if the rears are warm, just scrape into a 10-second quarter mile, but that's not really the huge appeal of this car. What is the 9,000 RPM peak horsepower figure. Peak torque actually comes in at 6,000 RPM, so you're just chasing those revs all the time. This will go all the way to 325 kilometers per hour, and really the V8 is the centerpiece. One of the greatest engines that I think that Ferrari has ever produced. Now, of course, with this generation, an absolute revelation to these cars was the dual clutch auto, and that just completely changed your experience from the previous F1 boxes. I've driven a bunch of 430s, and while that gearbox is definitely not terrible, the leap in just effortlessness, performance, and aggressive shifts with this gearbox is also another reason why these have kept their values so well. Now, when it comes to the interior, how has it aged given this is a now 15-plus-year-old design? One thing I love so much is the design itself, particularly of the leather ornaments and the chairs through this car. They look so good, and they've aged and sort of held up quite well. One thing that hasn't held up too well, we do have a sticky button situation with 458s, but our friend in here in Melbourne, Bill Musa, can sort you out with that quite easily. I really like, still, the leather going out through the dash looks fantastic, and my favorite thing of all in this car, the huge yellow tack, a real tack, not just a digital one. It dominates the interior experience, and watching it wind that needle all the way out to 9,000 RPM is something that people are willing to pay a lot of money for, and I can understand why. Now, at the time of filming this, I've looked at car sales on my website here in Australia to give you an idea how fewer of these are on the market than the other flagship mid-engine Ferraris. Well, there's 24 296s for sale, there's 29 488s, there's 16 430s, and there's just 10 of these, 5 coupes, 5 spiders. So you can see how much people are holding onto these and keeping them in their garages, even though they sold so well. They did sell 16,000 of these globally, as far as I'm aware, 6,000 spiders and roughly 3,000 to 4,000 speciales. Now in Australia, they came out at $525,000 for the coupe and $588K for the spider. That's of course before you slapped on a whole bunch of options. Now, across those 5 cars of each that are for sale, the average asking price is 462,000 Australian for the coupes and 574,000 average for the spiders. So already the average price of coupes and spiders is getting very, very close to the original sticker. And then of course, the really, really minty low kilometer examples are doing even better than sticker, or at least matching it. So that is, if you've enjoyed a car for 10 years and driven it for 15,000 kilometers, 10,000 miles, that's a damn good investment in your very, very happy experience. So here at Ray's Eurotech with Ray, Ferrari 458s, mate. What should I look out for? How do they go in terms of maintenance?
Ferrari 458, yeah. Well, just go and buy, mate. You don't have to look anything.
Okay.
It's pretty solid. The motor is pretty solid. They do have some issues with the interior, like the trim lining is not that great. Yep. Eventually fades away. Other than that, the gearbox is pretty good. Getrag 7-speed. Early models had some issues, but after that, it's all fine. So there's no oil leaks on that car.
Not many at all.
Pretty solid, yeah, not many. Maybe just one oil leaks, maybe from the cam covers sometime. Even that, if the car's not been looked after or hasn't been driven much, that's also caused it. Not many coolant leak issues. Suspension is pretty solid as well. Yeah, pretty solid.
But generally, the 4.5 litre is pretty rock solid.
Yeah, pretty rock solid, yeah. I would say pretty rock solid. No timing chain issue, nothing, man. Yeah.
Sounds good
solid,
to me.
Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Ray. The 458. A few things I can think about in terms of driving this car regularly is that bumpy road mode and wet mode do a really good job of soaking up the broken road. You don't always feel like you're driving a supercar if you don't want to. It's not too hard to get in for me. These seats are a little bit narrow for my size, but the visibility is also quite good. The great thing about the visibility is you have, of course, the V8 behind you to see the whole time when you look in your rear vision mirror. But there's no real massive blind spots here, which is great. Bumpy road mode, really good. In wet mode, the gearbox is nice and smooth and easy to drive. And then, of course, when you want to put your windows down, everything just transforms. And this engine just comes alive once you put it in the other modes. There's something about the way this car winds out to 9,000 RPM. It is so satisfying. Even in sport mode, this car wants to go. It wants to perform, it wants you to push it. And the fact that it's aged a little bit from the gearbox and sort of how pointy it is, it almost gives it just more character, I feel. You feel just super engaged with everything that's going on. Outside of a manual gearbox, some people feel that this is peak supercar, the sort of late 2000s. You know, I've driven the 296, the 488, the Tributo, and I tell you, there's something really missing, particularly in the Tributo. Even though it's so fast, it just kind of lacks a little bit of soul. The 296, again, 800 horsepower, 9-second quarter miles, but I don't feel I'm missing out on too much when I'm on a sharp turning B road. With this, I feel this car is angry and it wants me to drive it fast, rather than trying to just get me to A to B as quick as possible without having a brilliant time. You know, when 458s got to like lowish 300,000s, I was really looking at one back in 2019. At the time I had a 3RS, and I do regret buying a good one from Zagami back then, because this V8 is so addictive. And unfortunately, a lot of these from years back have been basically just left in the garage and not driven, as so many Ferraris are. So that's kind of a shame, but it's testament to how great and how much fun these cars are to drive. So having said that, let me know some other cars you think are going their way from depreciated back to sticker price. 458 is definitely one of them. The GT3 RSs of this period have done the same. Let me know some other models that we should drive next. This is Driver 88, and we'll see you next time.